Hey guys, we're back. Thank you, Ronan Dude, by the way, for slaying the Bit Boss. If you guys are unaware, we are currently going to be awarding a second war chest code to the Bit Boss of the stream on top of the free one we're raffling off for anybody and everybody to enter in to win. But the end of the stream is now a question mark for us. It does appear that we are actually going to be waiting not just a little while, but like a substantial amount of time before we get to cast our very last best of 3 of the day. So I pose a question to you guys in chat and you can let us know. And please, to be honest, for myself and Zombie Grub, both answers mean exactly the same to us, okay? We can either end this stream now and host somebody who is casting games so you guys can continue to enjoy the show and realizing we'd be missing out on one last best of 3 that would still be covered by somebody else. Or we can continue sitting here through just like playing ads and downtime while we wait for that last best of 3. Please vote honestly on which one you would prefer us to do, because it doesn't matter to us, like, at all. So gonna go back to break. Let us know your thoughts in chat. We'll be in chat with you while we continue to wait, and you guys can let us know what.
I mean, we could cast a game right now.
Oh, which game's available? I thought we were still waiting.
Serral vs DnS.
Is that starting brand new or what?
Yeah, it's starting.
Oh, then yeah, let's do that.
All right then.
I thought we were still gonna be waiting a lot longer than that, so disregard that message, guys. So it's Serral, DnS,
Game Heart.
ZVP.
Correct. Yeah, Serral just lost a very, very long game versus Showtime, and when I was facing DnS has been waiting a long time, and then the winner of this will face Uthermal. That's how it's going to go down.
Maybe I should hedge my bets and give them $500 to ensure BitBoss for a $25 item. Why would you give us $500 for that? That's actually insane. I would tell you not to do that, as much as I would love $500. But thank you for the sentiment and craziness, I suppose, Terminator.
Okay, they gave me the map order, so I guess I'm the map maker now.
I'm the boss. All right, well, give me 10 seconds and we'll start the intro, because it'll be long and late, and we'll see you guys in Acolyte for game 1 here shortly.
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's game number 1 here in the losers bracket. Spawning at the bottom left, he may be finished, but he's not finished yet, as he's still fighting on. It's the Red Zerg, Serral. It performed really wrong, and he's like Norwegian. I'm like, shit.
In the top right, as the blue Protoss, it is DnS.
Actually, I am still wrong though, because Serral is totally a White Walker, as established by his many photos on Twitter.
Serral's Norwegian because he's actually Snoot.
No, that's Probe.
Darn it!
What is this ZG? What is this new thumbs emote, dude?
The new thumbs up emote?
Yeah. It's like, I really like the old one. I'm not gonna be like salty that the old one's gone, but at the same time, I almost feel like this is almost too cutesy for you. Like, you're not like a cutesy emote type of person in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, yesterday it was lipstick. Today it's a really cute emote. It's fine if you just want to be girly sometimes, Zombie Girl.
Are you even subbed to me?
On Rift King, I'm not base trade.
Ah, okay. Because I know you mentioned, like, is it cute enough to sub to yesterday? Oh, there's Thunder somewhere. So, like, yeah, I wanted to get new emotes just because, like, I actually didn't think the old one was very good. I mean, basically only it seemed like one person used it. So
It was, you know what I liked about it though, like I'm not criticizing. This one's fine. I want to make it clear. I'm not trying to tease it. You're not normally a goofy person, right? Like I'm usually the dumb goof, and you're like the straight man, right? In our duo. So I like this the really dumb goofy thumbs up because I felt like it was like that one time we saw Zombie be goofy.
it was that goofy, but it was definitely like it was really just a picture like cut out, and it wasn't very thought went into it and stuff like that.
It wasn't emote worthy.
I agree. I mean, I don't really like how cutesy the new one is either. Like definitely like the artist style more for the humanoid stuff.
The cats,
But,
you like the cats more? What a surprise.
Yeah, I like the cats more. But I figure I'd see what people thought about it, and decided after. So I'm really like I don't like though that I had to change the code, whatever they call it. Because I guess maybe I did it too quickly, or maybe that's really how it goes, but like I couldn't use the same code as the ones I deleted. That kind of sucks. Anyway, enough about that. And then my tier 3 sub emote, so like I think I only have like one tier 3 sub, was also, I think, well done.
I've got some of the best tier emotes. I'm just gonna say it messes with everybody when they see it, and I love Terminator's like the greatest culprit of this. I guess we should talk about the game. Actually, things are starting to develop, but real quick, end of this story is like, if you guys haven't seen the Rifkin Tier 2 emote, it's amazing, and every time Terminator is like, hey, check out this great emote, every streamer is like, I don't get it, it's not loading for me. It's not working for me, I only see a black box.
And then he's like, got him, and then they become best friends.
Pretty much how it goes, like 99% of the time.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought, that's what I figured. I got it.
Alright, so Serral got a pretty good scout with that Overlord coming in. Beauty of Overlord's speed. Saw the Stargate, knows there's oracles, probably knew there'd be oracles anyways, but I think one of the things he's going to be looking for here with DNS is like how many oracles, right? Is DNS fashionable?
It's a good question. I definitely consider DNS one of these guys that's still coming up as a Protoss player, right? That's still true, and it's been true for a little while. But it's also not really making any noteworthy like style changes to make him more noteworthy than just like someone who's becoming a better and better Protoss player in the European scene. So I'm not sure he's the type to bring in mass Oracle to the scene either.
Well, also, I was just going to mention on that note too, DNS is still like one of the best French players there are right now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't mean to say that like, it's just this guy that's like kind of okay, but like I am saying that I'm not sure that he's not bringing anything too exciting. It's not like we're watching Goblin get to the round of 4 because he's doing Mass Oracle all the time, back before it was actually a usual thing. What do you know? So I'm not sure he's going to be the first one that we see bring Mass Oracle into European tournaments. Again, we haven't done too many lately, so it's not as cool of a statement as it used to be, but yeah, I haven't seen the Europeans do it yet.
I was gonna say, I know cast at least 1, maybe 2 Corsair Cups without you, and it still hasn't trended there either. It's just not like you're missing out on much. I think though, what has really got me going on this is we're seeing it a lot in Korea, but it might entirely just be on the fact that Korean Zergs play very differently than European Zergs, and it actually works in Korea where it might not work in Europe. I don't know. It's hard to say, but either way, maybe the Protoss are late to the party, or maybe the Zerg are ahead of the game. Regardless, it's not happening here, and we're still not seeing it, generally speaking.
Right. Oh, so DNS is already on 3 bases. Acolyte being the first map choice was probably okay for DNS. The quick 3 bases is usually still more appealing than any like muta pressure you might feel in this matchup, because that certainly is possible. We saw it from Snoot. It's not too common, and more likely you're going to be kind of abusing that hanging 3rd base with a Warp Prism than they are with mutas. And Serral is not adding on a Spire. He is going into a missile upgrade, not Ling upgrades, and a Hydralisk Den. Still no Baneling Nest. DNS takes too quick of a 4th base. Maybe Serral will apply quite a bit of pressure. Just grabs the sentry right there.
Oracles get in, but one gets picked off. Nice control of the Queens. Hydra's coming out too, and of course Serral goes for that gold base. Now this isn't entirely like when we watched Snoot earlier today versus Mana. Snoot of course neglected this base for so long and rushed out to prioritize the gold, but we still saw the benefits and the effects that the gold brings, and somebody like Serral can certainly make use of it. Like, I hold Snoot in high regard, but I also hold Serral in very, very high regard.
Well, Snoot and most of the European Zergs hold Serral in the highest regard, specifically for this matchup.
Yeah.
And other matchups, but even more so in this matchup. So he's actually kind of the trendsetter, and it's really, I think, rare to hear such unanimous agreement amongst the pros about who they're looking to. Usually it's a bit more secret. Like, you have to be, like, you know, friends with them to be like, oh yeah, they're talking about this one dude. But now Serral's kind of the, he's actually kind of the golden child of Europe right now. I think everyone's eyes are turning to him, similar to everyone's eyes turning to Neeb for North America. That's certainly going to be proven if he can actually get to Montreal. This is the losers bracket after all, so it's still a little bit in question if he's going to get an invite there. Or qualify there, because I guess it's not an invite. Anyways, but this is, I wanted to know, it's not just a gold base. Stu got this gold base as a 4th. This is a gold base as a 5th. Like, Serral is actually set to go on bases for quite some time.
Drones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he won't have any lack of place to move to, even if there is a major attack on one base or another. And he is the one that is attacking at DnS. DnS, though, took this very cautiously. He even has the cannons, like, pre-built before the Nexus is even done. So I think he's going to be okay. This is, again, you know, want to mention no Banelings. No Baneling nest at all. Just Hydras and their upgrades. So, you know, Storms are going to be a little problematic if he's all clumped up, but he is spreading out. And Zealots are also going to be problematic, I guess, is more important, because that's usually where the Banelings come into effect. But it's a mass drop into the natural, so I take back what I said about Serral being the one to worry about this. It's definitely TNS getting very surprised.
Yeah, a little bit of touch of the Nurchio, you could say here. I love seeing drops when they work off well for Zerg, and of course these Hydras are not going to be left alone. There's more coming. Like, Serral's not just doing a little bit of damage here, he is committing to his Hydralisk to this natural base. And it's not going to be an escape route.
Well, you know what's really nice about
focusing
this...
down the Zealots while kiting on the other half, that was so sick.
Yeah, the charge lots are very ineffective right here. You know, there's minerals that they have to kind of go through. There was the Nexus before it died. There's no anti-air, so it just gets all picked up.
Oh, they stickied. They stickied those Hydras real good.
Oh, I wonder how much it would cost to pay that guy to say that. So production is also something that is definitely worth hitting if that is the only thing available, but he is on a ramp. Very careful against those storms. And there's really nothing, so like I brought up that the storms are really plentiful, but you know, we all know that Banelings are really for the charge lots. But it's really not just a lack of Banelings, also a lack of like Lings. Nothing's gonna touch those High Templars unless literally everything else dies. You know, they're not being surrounded and concave upon. But they're also not responding everywhere.
I love the way he's trying to dodge out the Zealots here, doing some pickup micro on the Hydras too. It's really weird to watch, but who the hell other than Serral could even pull that off, right? Now he picks off the probes that are long distance mining between the bases, and these Hydras are getting... These have been such cost-effective drops.
Yeah. And it's really frustrating. Any amount of Phoenix, a Void Ray, a couple of Stalkers could have, you know, stopped the second attack maybe from coming in here. And maybe the micro too, but this is still continuing on. The threat of the front is something that DnS just cannot like do away with. He can't just leave the front of his 4th base, otherwise he's gonna lose it.
Oh, these Zealots come in and he's just like sticky my way out of there.
I love that this is being brought back up because you found the time to do a meme picture.
Yeah. At least we're not talking about Overlord penises, am I right?
What's the sticky made out of, Rafran?
I don't know about the sticky, but that's what the schlong is. But anyways, this base is going to go down again because if Serral, like, if he's not responded to, he gets the base for free, and if he is responded to, then this army moves in. Like, this multi-pronged set of attacks that he's using the mineral lines as SimCity, like, for his Hydras. This is just so beautifully crafted out of him. And meanwhile, this same Hydra drop from earlier, these Hydras have each got like 7 or 8 kills apiece.
You know, I feel like if DnS had this on lockdown, again, through, like, you know, literal anti-air in the sky, or maybe just massling stalkers, something, I don't know.
Some Phoenix.
I wonder if this would be an easier composition for him to deal with. Because it has just been literally pure Hydras. His High Templars, as I was talking about, have, like, never really been under fire. They've always seen like, you know, amazing opportunities, but they couldn't chase because he was dealing with drops in the main and the natural. Like DnS still has a very strong army with a very strong army supply, but he can't move out. Otherwise he's gonna lose another base and 20 more probes.
It's so crazy considering Hydras are basically always stimmed Marines, right? Like, so it makes sense that these drops are getting so much done, but oh, Lurker's now in the equation.
Yeah, this is gonna... I mean, it's still such a good anti-Lurker army, but the way that DnS has been just, like, torn apart, always finding himself, like, retreating into chokes and his own bases, these Lurkers might just be really good. But I like how DnS is trying to keep a cool head. This could have really... he easily could have pulled the main army back at this point in time, lost the fourth, and that's game over. He still has decent mining, despite losing a base, so he's trying to get to air. He's still trying to play this PvZ out.
Downside is, though, being down here like this, without any bases, any buildings, he has no vision and didn't see this attack coming. Lurkers advancing forward, too.
Oh, no.
Well, carriers are like a brilliant idea. Both of the Stargates are about to be depowered, and that's probably his hopes now dashed.
Yeah, those carriers would have been so useful. Oh, they have to wait for everything to be rebuilt. Oh.
So one time
so
I
much
feel
for
bad
that.
for Protoss is when Serral's playing against them.
Yeah, and DnS I think realized that was really what he was hoping for, to play like an okay macro game. He tried to push out, realized he couldn't, and now he's actually truly just getting flustered.
Of course, these Hydras are going to be slightly covered by the Lurkers, but with detection out, the Lurkers are cleaned up, but this gives the Hydras time to escape. DnS is, of course, barely mining on 2 bases. Hydra denying probes. He's actually supply block now, straight up.
Oh,
and his
no.
positioning couldn't be better for those Hydras.
Oh my god. If there was like a roach in the front there tanking, it would have been maybe a little bit better, but that was about as good as it got. This is... The thing is, like, you look at the supplies, it's still not game over, yet you just feel so bad for DnS.
Well, no, you know what? Even if you don't look at the supplies, look at the map. It doesn't matter like what the supplies look like right now, because it's 2 bases, not even efficiently 2 bases, but barely 2 bases to 6. And that's all you need to know at the end of the day, right? Like,
Well, hey, the people, you know, there's always that point to bring up, especially if they're able to buy time. There's so much creep spread, you know, they can lose a couple of bases, but you should never underestimate the power of that final Protoss push. That has won games that they're not supposed to.
That's true. I think throwing is a real possibility. I shouldn't be joking about this so I guess frivolously, but my concern here is, like, while the mothership core is out, she has 16 health. The best thing going right now is the stealth, and even that might not last long. Lurker's gonna reposition, and the spine callers, they're gonna go down.
You know, if he had some way to deal a little bit more effectively with these counters, well, they're not really counters, they've been going on for forever now, but the drops continuing on in his main and 4th base, I think I'd give some serious credit here. You know, maybe if there were storms back at home or DTs.
I love the mutas. It is full on base trade territory now. And
yeah, you know, you got double Spire.
I will say we absolutely, DnS gets so much credit, right? Like, DnS, I don't think at any point played this poorly. There's like hard to make any criticisms, really. Serral just played phenomenally, and like, as we said, he's the golden child of Europe. It's to be expected to an extent. I mean, this army of the DnS is seriously posing some contestable problems, but luckily, as we point out, Serral has so many bases to fall back to. The time it'll take DnS to push through all of this, I don't think he can win this race.
You can't win against the mutas. DnS does no longer have a forge. No. Oh, he has the forge. Loses blink. Denied. And he's not going to build any cannons. He would need as many cannons as possible, and even then that wouldn't be enough. There's no way he wins this game against Mass Muta.
He recalls to his last standing base, but this is where the Hydras could really get in there and pick off the mothership core. Or mothership,
well, they can't,
excuse me.
Really. They're actually blocked by the texture, the terrain, there we go, and the sheer size of the army.
Well, Serral may have lost some momentum with the Hydras all going down just now, and he did lose a lot of bases, so, you know, it really puts him in a bit of a bind back at home, but he's got so many mutas. What's this, plus 15, 29? He's got like 45 mutas.
Oh yeah, I still think he wins with Mass Muta, but I do really want to just point out how helpful that mothership was. Not just in that recall right there, where it definitely saved some damage on a bunch of Archons, but those the Lurker Spine Claw defense would have taken out quite a chunk of the army if it had been able to just, like, do anything, but it never got to shoot.
Sorry.
Oh, but it never got to shoot, you know, the protection wasn't there. So the mutas, so this game isn't as over, like, as quickly as I thought, the amount of mutas that were available. Oh, no, don't be in the storms. But I do still give way, like, you know, a lot more power to Mutas controlling the game. You know, Serral can rebuild. Serral, you know, all of his important tech is actually in his natural, which oddly enough has never been touched because he's just been applying so much pressure.
Yeah, I noted earlier, like, that's where we put the layer, and it gets the hive, of course, obviously, greater spire. Like...
Yeah, exactly. So he, I think, has the greater chance to rebuild. Mutas should be able to control this game. But DnS, man, again, he 17 minutes of just being dropped and harassed all game. He's making smarter decisions than most other Protosses.
And this is not a scenario you're practiced for, right? Like, you're used to your openings and the harassment because you see it all the time, but this late in the game, who's in this position often enough that you can say, like, I'm really used to this, I'm really well practiced.
Right? Yeah, I don't think many people can. Man, if DnS could get to, like, mass Stargate again, and they really forgot that in the first place, but if they get the Stargate units again, he might be able to bring back this game.
No,
you
but
know,
this is the problem, though, right? Mutas are going to do this for the rest of the game.
No, they're taking the motion. They could take out the motion for. It's ever, like, out of position away from the storm.
There's just no way for DnS to get proper mining. If he had a huge bank, I would have faith in him to recover this. But every time the Archon's on the left, he's going to go right. Sure, he'll eat a little bit of storm damage, but he'll kill a massive amount of probes in the meantime.
It's true. Yeah, if he had 3,000 on the bank, there's a huge potential. Right now, there's, like, the smallest amount of potential. But Serral could... DnS has a sizable army. Like, it's actually a pretty good army. It has Storm, Archon, Cloak. It's actually very good. He's not building from zero or building from a bad army. He's building from an actually okay place. And he managed to get an economy. Like, not a very stable one, but he managed to get it. I can see a future where the Protoss, kind of like the quote-unquote unbeatable army that Zergs have trouble with, actually end up tripping up Serral. You know, the mass Mutas do not do what they're supposed to. The mass Phoenix comes out of the counter. I don't know, something like that. DnS is trying to go mass Phoenix.
By the way, just drew the winner of the raffle, Shire Shady. If you're here in chat, congratulations. Hey. You got a code for the war chest. You do what you like with it. Give it to a friend. Use it yourself. But send me a DM either on Twitter or here on Twitch, and we'll get that to you after the cast.
You know what's so sad about this? Because he's kind of like, the natural is probably the difficult place to control. He builds too many structures, and he SimCities himself out of his defense. Hard to compensate for.
Yeah, that's true. What's unfortunate, though, is, like, the Phoenix are a brilliant choice. You know there's 38, 40-something Mutas on the field, right? What's the obvious answer? Phoenix with the Onion Pulse Crystals. But that's not all he has to worry about. And I think, unfortunately, by focusing too much on one and perhaps not the other, things like these fungal growths, these run-bys with the Hydras, like, this could actually get really out of hand. And, again, it's all about mining right now. Archons get popped off. If that Nexus dies, this is bad news bears for DnS.
Yeah, it looks like this might just be too much of a combo.
There's the mothership going down finally. The Muta's getting the job done.
Well, DnS, maybe there was a tiny glimpse of hope. Gone now.
Yeah, Fleet Beacon denied too, so no Onion Pulse Crystals. I mean, these Phoenix won't have much of a range advantage. They do have one, but it's slight and it's hard to control.
His army's being surprisingly AI'd out. I'm never gonna say that again. It's bugging out in the pylons.
DnS, man. Dead in Sewater. That's what DnS stands for.
I'm mad that kind of works. Head in Sewater.
I mean, I really can't wait for game 2, and I hope it's not something that's over in a matter of minutes due to proxies from one person to the other, but I thought, like, this was a really good game out of him. It's a shame. Like, the Hydras caught him so badly off guard. Those drops were sick, though.
Oh, yeah. They certainly were.
Literally can't build anything.
Hey, supply blocks. It's no longer that great of an army. It's no longer... I mean, he's once again set back down to 0 technology. Oh, it's Phoenix. Get you. Gonna get you. I also really wonder what this game would have looked like had he not lost those Stargates. Had he been able to build carriers, the Stargates would have been alive. Maybe he could have built a Phoenix count earlier on. There's all those options. But they're dead now.
How did that pylon live? At that point, I think there's like a fear factor that gets involved. You're like, okay, this did so much damage that it killed you out of fright.
Yeah.
But this is truly terrifying over here. The fungal growths. He's actually got neural parasites, which I think he's looking to use more than fungals, frankly. The lurkers, the hydras is just on top of the mutas. I'm sorry, DNS.
Oh yeah. And he's all like balled up in a corner, trying to save all his production buildings from the mutas, so the lurker's just gonna hop right on top of that. Oh man, by the way, there's a upgrade for the new patch that makes lurkers like burrow 3 times as fast. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but it looks crazy.
GG. I was saying the Widow Mines have it, so it's not that crazy.
The Widow Mine's got a burrow upgrade?
Well, I mean, they have one right now, right? It makes them drilling claws burrow faster.
Oh, yeah. Well, that I still don't think it's as crazy as the lurkers when they burrow. Those are insane. But that was a bit of a. I mean, he tapped out because he couldn't deal with the fungal, so that was still kind of anticlimactic. Oh well, on the game too. Getting warm.
Of course, I'm restarting my client because of the whole middle mouse button bug. Woo! Gonna hit a quick break though, guys, as I get Share Shady their code. So sit tight, and we'll see you for game 2 ASAP. Welcome back, and one thing you guys didn't get to see there because of the intro was a cancel on the larva. So in the top left, looking for an early pool, not wanting to play another long game like that last one, it's Serral.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is DnS. He is scouting.
That's a damn good thing he's scouting too, because this is a hell of a thing for Serral to do after that game. I think it's a little bit predicted. You're like a better player, up 1-0 in the series. He's got a game to risk. Cheese is all his to risk. But seeing the timing in the hatchery alone might be enough to tip off DNS. Getting to the main confirm obviously would be best.
I almost really, well, I do wish that Serral had just gone to the third automatically, because I think that would have been DNS maybe patrolling for a second or two more, realizing, oh, I should check the third, and then he realized it's an early pool, because he was going to stay there and try and block that out as long as possible. But of course now he realizes what's up.
Well, pros and cons to Bizzle Reef on the defense though. You have like a 50-50 chance the Zerg player goes the wrong way most of the time, if DNS were to fully wall this off one direction. Unfortunately though, it does look like he's going for the more expensive wall-off option, which will work, but unfortunately provide plenty of surface area for the Lings to walk around up here on the top side.
Right, this is the option that fully walls off, but is so like susceptible to any amount of Lings. Like you are just going to have 3 points of weakness, including the Zealot, I suppose, but obviously the Pylon's more so. So it's a bit dangerous, and he will need that second Zealot to secure the defense.
I love the choice to go for the Pylon too. He could have gone for the Gateway, more surface area, thus more damage done with the Lings, but the Pylon's more important for supply. If DNS gets supply blocked, he has no hopes of holding on.
This looks to be a hold, though. You know, Serral did not go for the gas, and DNS scouted, I believe.
He's going to break the Pylon, though.
Well, that's annoying.
Surround on the Zealot, supply block 2. Now he's going to head towards the main. This is a problem, because even with the Mothership core out, this is still going to be really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, maybe anticipating a couple more Lings and not bringing that Zealot over immediately.
Ooh. That control the DNS as he kind of shuffles the probes in waves instead of stacking them all at once. Only 2 probes died to that.
Pretty good. 2 probes, not too bad, and there is no other follow-up. There's no more Lings trickling in here, and as said, he knows there's not a gas follow-up, so no speed Lings going to be scaring him. So was that worth it for Serral? He forced a very delayed Nexus, as his own Hatchie was delayed. 2 Zealots that aren't really that useful, especially since one died, and yeah, I guess 2 probes. Sure, why not? Really hard to say, like those early pools, sometimes they look okay, like why don't you always do this, and sometimes they look just devastating for the mid game.
Yeah, if this in any way actually helped to tilt DNS, even slightly, there's also that value added to it as well. Because let's never forget, guys, DNS has just come off the back end of a 20-minute game, hard fought, refused to leave, stubbornly wanted to fight it out, comes into this next game and he gets cheese right off the bat. I don't know, dude, that would piss anybody off.
Well, I think it helps mitigate that feeling of just like, oh, I sure in God. When you actually scout it and just mentally prepare, you can kind of get over that as you prepare for it. So hopefully DnS is okay. And there's definitely one thing we learned from last game is that this guy has learned how to control. I don't want to say his emotions, but his control like what appears in the game. Maybe he is really, really angry and he's like cursing out Zerg and stuff, but we don't see it in the game. Last game he showed patience. He was able to try and think calmly about the situation and try and make very smart decisions. Definitely a good quality to have as a Protoss player, generally pro gamer. So he'll be okay in that department. And Serral, well, I don't know what Serral's thinking. You know, he was scouted so quickly. Really, ideally, it's not scouted at all. And he did only get 2 probes for all those lanes going to the main base.
Now, Overlord gets a wonderful scout to see the extra gateways coming down. Saw no third base timing either, and the Lings are going to be sticking up here to ensure that too. Well, it looks like with the Adepts should be able to get this up and running.
Yep.
It's tough though when you're playing, like, Serral has had full reign with slow Overlords to completely scout this base, poke in with those Lings early on. I mean, there's nothing DnS is getting the surprise element for here.
No, he's not. But the Stargate doesn't usually lead into too much of a surprise. So once that was scouted, it's like, yeah, okay, probably third base. But Serral's not looking to punish the third base. He is just continuing his own macro game back at home. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. You know, a couple of Lings, just in case there's an Adepts out, plus a Baneling Nest. But depending on how well you deal with the Adept move out, DnS just sent like 6 over. You can immediately pounce on their third, as they're desperately trying to refill their army supply. I think Serral was specifically looking for those Adepts. Barely missed him. Nice. DnS, I think most Protosses nowadays are playing very safe with those Adepts. Just shading out immediately, or running in, as opposed to trying to get maximum damage by shading into another base. So his third is totally fine, and Serral did just make those defensively, so he is going back to building a lair at the very least. A couple more drone. A couple more Lings. Fourth base. I mean, it should be back to droning soon. There it is.
I just stole the dumbest thing I think I've stolen so far in Gatherbot.
I like it though.
Alright, next is up and running, probes transferring over, but you talk about the safety of these Adepts, and I think what's really important to note, just generally speaking here, is look at the resources lost this game. Like, both players, despite what's happened, somewhat conservative, playing very safe, and no one's really taking phenomenal losses, but Banelings awaited the Adepts, and the Adepts don't get to kill that many drones. This ends up being a bad attack out of DnS.
Yeah, my question is, does Serral use it to do anything? Looks like he's just gonna stay at home. The third base... Yeah, okay. Oh, and there's one more. The third base is kind of set up with force fields and pylons, but that was a lot of Lings. Like, he took a really good trade with the Banelings and the Adepts, and with that many Lings, you can definitely at least hold off any potential fourth you're thinking of, although that would be very greedy fourth by DnS if he was already taking it.
Yeah. People fighting over the bit boss right now, and I guess some don't know how this works, so I guess a quick explanation, although I may wait for this with the Lings coming in. Yeah, we'll go into this after. The Lings diving in are going to get force fielded out, hopefully, ideally. No, or not. A couple overcharges go down. Sentry still haven't burned those force fields yet. A little bit late.
He's trying to be very patient. Maybe you're not realizing there were more Lings than the initial, like, 20 that showed themselves.
I mean, he does deal with these. They don't get much. A couple pylons, and that's about it.
Yeah, had he panicked and tried force fielding the pylons away from danger, he probably would have lost his probes and his sentries.
Tough calls to be made out of a Protoss player in that situation. It's always going to be really tight. And of course, if you miss any of your force fields by even like one grid point, it could be the end of the game.
Yeah, that was a very small amount of units to defend with, and he did so dang well. Fifth base is on the way for Serral, who's gotten up to 74 drones and on to bigger and better things, such as the Hydras. Finally turning his upgrades too. No quick +1, but still +1. DnS will have time for sure to get up to the Storm. And this War Prism's looking to buy any time extra that it might need. And, now that he's dealt with that pretty large Ling attack, he slaps down that fort.
Yeah. Still trying to do some harassment too, but the Oracle's really not had luck catching many. It's only been like one drone into one drone into one drone. But the threat of the Warp Prism still sits up here, so he may get away with it later. But Serral still wants to continue with these Ling Run buys. He's got to open the rocks if he really wants to do that. In the interim, to talk about the Bit Boss real quick, here's the health bar. It's always displayed on screen, guys, on any of the scenes we have. 1 bit or 1 cent in a donation equates to 1 point of damage. So if you donate $1, it deals 100 damage. You cheer 100 bits, it deals 100 damage. And that's how you kill the Bit Boss. But keep in mind, the amount you kill it by can also lead into more health afterwards. So for example, if you donated $5, your new Bit Boss would have 400 health and would thus be harder to kill by other people. Anyways, this Warp Prism, unfortunately, is once again falling a little bit flat. Serral, very quick to the defense, loses 6 drones in total.
Considering that the Warp Prism and Oracle are both alive, and this has kept the army visibly away from his 4th base, might be okay with that result. Banelings were morphing. They're already done. Good force build, though. Very delicate procedure here. It's a little worrying that Serral's creep spread is so close. If he does have to retreat because charge lots chase after leftover Hydras, for instance, then he can do so a lot more easily than some others. In fact, this is probably the closest I've seen the creep spread in a very even game so far. A little bit worrying. He's actually going to crash in here, but the High Templars are perfectly defended behind Archons and Immortals and Cannons.
Yeah,
and that did not go that well.
Serral's army looked really terrifying, but it was kind of fragile.
Yeah, it was. You know, that's something that's really going to require DnS to come after him to do well. Again, that creep spread also would have been very helpful if he had done that, but DnS is like, no, you come to me.
Terminator's a bloody evil genius, by the way. I just boosted everyone to give everyone points to enter the arena with, and then he taxed everybody immediately. Clever girl. Alright, so once again, this Warp Prism and Oracle combination is not getting away with much. You know, it's been Revelations, which are good, the Odd Stasis Traps, which have not been so good. But generally speaking, DnS is just not getting much done with this.
No, he's not, but I do, like, it's very small, you know, it's not like 17 Zealots going down every time. He really is using that as almost like a meter to, like, where Serral is. Maybe go into the main base to check what is happening with the Hive, if it's happening yet. While having very strong macro and defensive game back, I think, and more importantly, on his side of the map.
I see what you've done over there on the other end of your, your camera, by the way. Just pulled that up as I was tabbing. Hello, Blazer. You guys can't see him, but Zongrab's new cat is currently hanging out with us here on stream. So expect to hear cat mom noises like ooka pooka pooka poo. Yeah, there you go. Stone's gonna hit these legs. Nice way to watch these off the Immortals. Barely triggers the shields. That's a bad engagement for Serral. But man,
yeah.
Serral's got a creep spread all the way up in DNS's base. Like, engagement paths here are not hard to pick when you've got creep all over the map.
Yeah, he was dealing so well with the Warp Prism, but that is still a threat. Like, I'm a little bit worried that could get out of control. He's left a large portion to deal with that, though. So he really is just focusing on the front lines and, you know, microing away when he has to, and depending on his creep to really let him escape, as well as just slow down any counter DNS might have. Now, DNS, great, you've held 4 bases. Okay, great, you've held 4 bases, only lost an okay amount of probes, but a 5th base gotta come down soon, and anti-Broodlord tech should also be on his mind. Serral's already on a way to retire.
Yeah, we've been so busy watching these engagements, I haven't really looked at the resources lost until now, but Serral's just been like slamming his head against the wall, and normally for this you've got a big bank and you've had so much money to give away. I don't know that that's the case, especially as he moves towards Broodlords here. In fact, Serral may have given away too much at this point.
That is a very good point. You usually have a much bigger bank to transfer over into those Broodlords, so this might be a perfect time for DNS. You know, he doesn't have anti-Broodlord tech, but if he wins right here, then it won't matter. And Serral's trying to defend, so he doesn't even have enough money to get to Broodlords.
Yeah, he's got to be spending all that gas on more Banelings, more Hydras. I mean, that's not a bad thing either. Those are perfectly good units, but if he is looking for that transition, the money's not there.
Serral is, I mean, it's been careful, but it's definitely been hitting into storms and not taking very good trades. This might just lead to an eventual win for DnS. Very strong army that wouldn't do too well against Broodlords if they were covered correctly. They're not even here. Serral might have to give up his base. The thing is, this is the area, of course, where you're going to find the biggest wrap around the biggest concave.
Force field blocks and storms are good. This was supposed to be a two-pronged attack out of Serral, but it turned into a one-pronged attack. And these Templars still have storms to go. A lot of units out of Serral right now, but gets demolished.
Gosh, GG.
Wow. DnS ties it up. Of course, we gotta take this back to if we stop the cat cam. What's up, Blazer? Oh, he's so cute. But secondly, the fact that this was, of course, coming off Serral opening with, you know, that early pool, dedicating to that cheese. It wasn't guaranteed he was going to win that game when that failed. But, man, he played that out well. I love his little feet. He's got those giant socks on. He's so cute.
He does have socks. I was more interested.
I love cats, guys, if this isn't apparent. If you're new to the channel and you love cats, hit the follow button. If you like dogs, you can still hit the follow button, but we just won't like you as much.
Oh, the only thing bad about, and I don't remember this from my younger years having kittens, but this has been very apparent to me lately with Nugget and
well, it's because you're a
Blazer.
parent. It's apparent when you're a parent.
Is that kitten food gives them the worst farts, man.
Oh. Okay.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No,
but it's
apparently I've been
absolutely
eating
true.
kitten food my whole life.
Like, they get over once you swap them off, but I guess the high fat content, or I don't even know, but it's the worst.
Kitty poots.
The more you know. Who else is?
Oh, this is cool. What's this? PSA partners from Smix on Twitter. Referral stats have just been added to your stats dashboard to see where your viewers are coming from. That's actually really cool. I'm gonna favorite that, retweet that. I love data like this. I love looking at data like this. But yo, we've got quite the bit boss battle that's been going on. These guys have been slapping trades back and forth, and then Victory Vegan's just like, what's up? Zip, flop, 1,000 bits coming in. And he does it with ace cheers to just mutilate poor Terminator. Look at this, guys. Terminator's like, oh, I'm gonna put a cute little muxie in. And then gets stabbed by like 10 daggers. Feels bad, man. Someone call animal control. Or PETA? Which is it? The police.
For Victory Vegan? Oh, because PETA's usually full of vegans?
Well, I just meant because of animal cruelty, but then I realized PETA does a lot of animal cruelty, so that's why I swapped off of that one. Like, this is a topic a lot of people probably don't want to get into, so we'll leave it where it is and just instead appreciate Zombie Up's cute cat.
Well, he's given up trying to find a comfy spot on me, I guess.
Fair enough. I don't think there's any
That's
to be
okay.
had.
Apollo finds him all the time. Oh my god, Apollo looks so cool right now. He's like so chill. Dude. Okay,
Well,
so
let's do the intros and we'll get a cat cam going maybe. But top left, tie things up 1-1. It's the Red Protoss DnS.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it's Serral.
All right, Zombie, give us some of that Apollo love. We haven't seen this guy in a while. Get your cam up on
Well, my actual cat cam, unfortunately, I think fell off, so you can't really see him that well. He's chilling.
He does look super cool. Hang on, I'm actually crop this and zoom. One sec. What's up, Apollo? All right, enough cat cam. So, man, I've actually missed Apollo. I'm not gonna lie. When Zombie was in Korea, guys, I didn't get like I don't have a cat anymore, so I have to like appreciate her cats through her and basically the last 3 months Zombie has been dead to me. Like, what are you here for, StarCraft?
Okay.
I didn't hire you for StarCraft. I didn't hire you for boobs. I hired you for cats.
I was definitely lacking cats in Korea. Now I have so many.
I've actually really been contemplating going to the cat cafe here. I haven't because I fear that either A, it will make me very sad and miss my cat even more. Or B, I'll become addicted. I'll be going to the cat cafe like every day.
I wonder how many people go to cat cafes, you know, missing their cat at home, you know, they're in college, they just moved or whatever, and they just start breaking down crying in a cat cafe. And the employees are like, yeah, we get that. It's okay.
So yeah, we get that a lot. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I don't know. The one we went to in San Francisco, those little kitties are so cute. Because I've
Yeah.
the majority of my life has been with a cat, not a kitten. So it was kind of different, I guess, playing with a kitten again.
yeah, not many of them have kittens, so that was a special treat. Anywho.
Yeah, Ling's giving chase to the probe. It's not that many coming across the map, though, so there's nothing here for DnS to really worry about. They should have the wall up in time anyways, so he'll be good to go.
Right. So DnS played, you know, just really superb defensive Protoss game, and Serral did end up sticking too long on trying to break it. You know, it wasn't just that he maybe could have been even faster to the Brood Lords, it was also he didn't have enough of a bank to get to the Brood Lords. DnS had that perfect timing. Can do it again. I'm sure Serral, if it is that scenario where he can't quite break the Protoss's 4th base, I guess he's going to try and be a little greedier with the Hive.
I kind of get worried about when it's Hive Tech. Like, it does feel like most of the best Zerg victories we've witnessed have been through Ling Hydra, layer attack, absurd pressure, things like that. I'm not sold that Hive Tech is necessarily like always the best option, but it's never bad to have options.
I think against what DnS was building, it was borderline the only option. There's the old distraction, drops in the main. Certainly that was nowhere near the first game, really. The Overlord drops, the pure Ling Hydra, really just pure Hydra. That last game was a lot more typical.
I gotta say, by the way, just to everybody who we've cast today and those who we haven't, like, just looking at the brackets, there's not a lot of 3-0s or 2-0s on this. Like, this has actually been a really sick qualifier in terms of results for these players. I mean, even here, we're in game 3, right? And everyone is just playing out of their minds today, which is so cool to see.
Yeah. I actually, like, it's not... So Serral's in this weird place where he's such a good player. Everyone talks about him, and he even won a tournament, like, all good stuff. Yet he's not... People, like, are looking at, like, oh my god, I didn't make it to this tournament? Like, what happened to him? Like they are with Neeb. Anything Neeb does, he loses, like, a $10 cup, go for StarCraft, and they're like, well, what happened? Like, is he okay? Like, is he just not passionate anymore? Serral's not quite up to that scrutiny yet. So I feel like there should be a bigger storyline about Serral being, you know, 1-1, losers bracket, essentially not going to get qualified for Montreal, and there's
What's crazy about it is you give a Protoss like Neeb, be the one that knocks out Serral should he get knocked out, and that's not still that crazy. But somebody like DnS, I don't think is quite like like I said, he's like one of the best French players there are, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But it would be seriously surprising for DnS of all people to be the type of person to eliminate Serral. What? Oh, camera? Hang on. Oh, okay, you guys don't want to miss this. Oh wait, where's the... Why can't I share that? There we go.
Okay.
Snobgrab's cats are canoodling, and it's just super adorable.
It's so cute. Sometimes Apollo will just, like, roll over and let Blazer, like, win the fights.
What's he doing? He's like kicking his head now. This went from cute to savage in like a second.
Oh. No, Blazer doesn't use his nails. His claws. There we go.
I'm gonna be distracted. I gotta put that away. I'm just like auto following oracles while watching your cat just cuddle. It's so cute. But I love it. I love the reaction you had to that too. You just like start hyperventilating. No, I love being able to catch them actually being all cute together because they're so cute, like in the living room when there's like nothing to do, and it's just, oh my god. Okay.
Apollo's such a good big brother.
For sure.
Yeah, but there's still a game going on. It's really not getting to any decisive point yet because it does appear to be another like very typical PvZ.
Well, so there was this point where I was watching the oracles and I was thinking, okay, 3's still not that crazy. It goes above 3, and that's when we start talking about the mass oracle side of things, but not going that direction by the looks of it with charge and +1 finishing up.
Yeah. No mass oracles today.
Yeah, War Prism gonna come in. Actually, this will be great. The oracles, if they're chilling for energy right now, they're gonna be able to escort that War Prism in and pretty much secure a landing zone, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if there is that like typical just like couple lings, couple banelings, then that would be perfect for the oracles to clean up. So it's boldly running through the middle of the map, still going to 2 different locations. Ends up being queens that respond, so the oracle's gonna have a little more trouble against this.
Even if these queens take out the oracles, the thing is the zealots are still going to shred them to bits, and that new warping comes in, and that's all these oracles were meant to do, secure the warp in. So attack up here goes off, nothing to really defend. He's got to pull all the drones. Attack here in the main, kills the queens, should be able to deal with the hydras. There's still plenty of charge slots left, although that Baneling comes in and gets a pretty sweet hit.
Yeah, that the other attack actually soaked up a ton of banelings. The fact that like one even came over here and helped was actually pretty crucial. The Zealot attack on the 4th base was actually not expected by Serral, so that took a little while to clean up. But I think the charge lots have run out of steam. I think so, yeah.
They killed every single queen. So you know what? While this goes on, like the Zealots are trading up minerals for minerals and whatever. All injects are put on hold. Serral's actually going to have a hard time jumping ahead in economy, or excuse me, in army supply, because he doesn't have the larva for it.
That's a good
700
point.
minerals banked, and what are you going to do with that?
That was literally a single queen. So, I mean, he got on top of it pretty quickly. He realized like, okay, that's actually all my queens, and rebuilt them. So it was like it was definitely a gap of injects, but not too big. And that was eventually cleaned up. But it was dangerously close to snowballing. But it also definitely, I think, took that equal trade, right? Like, it wasn't just charge lots eventually getting absolutely slaughtered by a couple of banelings. It was actually trading with a lot of hydras, a lot of lings, and those queens. So DNS keeping on an even supply right now is very good, even. You know, like, all the times the Zerg player up 20, 30 supply, sometimes even 40, and the Protoss player is like, well, how am I going to defend against this? DNS should be totally fine, and he's on a 4th base as a gold.
Nice surround, but also good probe pull, so no workers lost here. Holds onto the base too. Good defense out of DNS. I guess there's a lot of scouting through this overseer, so there's no surprises happening, but I don't know, we're hitting macro territory, and macro territory definitely is somewhere Serral plays very well.
But I feel like he's really been tripped up by that attack. Like, that was probably the moment at which he is bulking up a lot of lings and hydras, and is then going to go across and build the banelings, you know? That actually took out a huge chunk of his army supply. It allowed DNS to very safely get a 4th base, add a gold again, and the supplies being even now actually in favor of DNS is not a good sign for the Zerg player who's still stuck on Baneling Hydra.
Oh, banelings were not quite worth it there. 4 probes and a cannon.
I can't believe DNS didn't take out this Overseer, only because I'm looking at that and thinking there's banelings dropping.
I know, I keep thinking there's something going on in the main. It's like every time I just like look away and stop paying attention.
How is he not paranoid? But more importantly, he does have to take care of this main army, and he has sights on it. He knows there's an attack coming. There's actually 2 attacks coming, and he doesn't know about this one. Maybe realizing he's bringing some units over there. I mean, this one he storms and Archons. I think he deals with the first attack fine, but this, a little more questionable, does have to pull the probes. The Nexus could go down.
Actually, the banelings may have been better off just going on the Nexus rather than chasing the probes, but this is once again an attack Serral's doing quite a bit of damage with, but not getting the probes, not getting the economy.
You know, he's going to lose the Hydras here to Zealots, and he didn't get the Nexus, despite being able to either do so by the Banelings or the Hydras could have focus fired on it. That's, again, not a very good trade, and Serral is still very, very slowly getting up the Hive. He just finished the Devastation Pit. There's the Hive now, but I fear this is going to be a repeat of last game.
I just read up your cat cam, dude. Your cats are going nuts right now. It's not on stream, but I'm worried someone's going to call the cat police.
Honestly, the flip. There's seriously more worrying things, you know. This is very similar to last game, maybe even like better for DNS, who is even more comfortable on 4 bases. All he has to do is, if anything, maybe once more find where the army is, head it off, and then put the pressure on, carry that momentum.
Serral's really trying hard for this gold too, and finally gets the base kill, but you know, this is, unlike last game, been somewhat even trading for Serral, right? Like, my concern was, at this point, was he giving away too much? You know, the Hydra's dying for the Zealots, the Baneling's constantly dying for nothing. but the resources lost is surprisingly close. So this is a much better rate of a game than it was last time, but it doesn't mean it's going any better for Serral.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent point, that the resources loss is a lot better this game, but I think the pacing is still kind of thrown off. But, you know, DnS, he did end up losing that 4th base. He didn't actually chase the army down. His army got a little, like, stuck. I guess he was looking somewhere else. And he's not going for that attack. It's once again towards that very important point of the Broodlords are going to be on the way soon. He has to attack. Okay, now he's going to attack. This is a very good time. Bearsbear only just started. And his army absolutely beats Serral's army. Even if it's fully surrounded, it's like pure Immortal Archon. Even if the storms aren't there.
Yeah, this is a sturdy as hell army that's not going to be easily broken.
And I think a surround is the only way Serral's going to have to deal with this. Either that or buying more time with counters. So he sends a lot of wings into the natural. There's a wall, but it's temporary.
Sorry.
Very temporary. The Banelings actually busted it down. A lot of production goes down with it too. A lot of probes are going to go down. Oops.
Oh, big hits, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to
Hey, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But this is like, it's actually really important because DnS, this is stalling DnS out. Like, he's across the map, but he's not pushing into it because he still doesn't want to get surrounded and lose the game because he was panicking back home.
He just lost 5 gateways of production here to that pylon going down. This is tough because he's got a warp prism. He's got this front line attack, but he can't actually reuse the money he's got banked up to reinforce it.
This is
all of his gateways are depowered. All of his gateways except these 2.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's Serral's way back into this game. Now he has even a 20 army supply lead, and the biggest concave you could hope for in this area. This might be good enough. No charge lot warpins. Charge lot warpins would be so helpful right now, but they're not here.
No, I think that's going to be it for DnS, and we're going to see Serral take the victory 2-1. Congratulations. Let's go back to some cutie cats. All right, so the winner goes on to play against you, Thermal. I don't know, are we supposed to cast that, or I don't actually know where we're at?
Yeah, I think it's the last one we're allowed to cast. I mean, the mainstream, I guess, is over, so maybe they'll boot us. Or rather, they did their games already.
Yeah, if the mainstream takes us, we might not be able to stick around, guys. So what we'll do is we'll play a commercial break now, get out of the way, and when we come back, either we'll be able to continue or we'll be done. So, it's time to grab cats. We'll see you guys soon.